at the end of the day, if you really want to go something crazy and just go look straight at the lens, it's like, look how massive my nose is. I look like an absolute idiot, but is it still focusing at the corner? Surely it does. Yeah, it is as well. I mean, this is just a fun lens. Alright then, it is finally here. We have got the Canon EF 17-40 f4 L version lens, and we've got this right now. And let's just do a quick little unbox into why I actually wanted it, and of course see if it's still up to standard in 2021. Alright, so what's happening, everyone? So you're watching Abdi Mohammed, and today we're going to be doing a quick little unboxing review of a very old lens. It's the 17-40 L version Canon lens, and I've actually got this, and I'm going to be pairing it up with the Canon R6, and later on we're going to be looking at different types of aspects of this lens as well. So that includes, of course, vignette, distortion, image quality, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a side-by-side compared to what you would be normally able to actually afford if you were looking into this type of camera. Alright, so let's just do a quick little initial unboxing review. It's not the original box, so I did actually manage to get this used. I don't think you can actually buy this brand new, to be honest. However, it is a L version lens, so it is my very first L version lens, and it happens to be the cheapest L series lens as well. But to me, it doesn't really matter because obviously I intend to use it for a specific need, and I'll explain about that later on. However, my initial impression is it's super light. I mean, to be fair, I was expecting this lens to be a much more heavier, much more bigger. You know, quite a lot of people say how enormous L series lenses are, especially the DSLR range ones. So I wasn't expecting this to be super light. Just to put it into context, it is similar in terms of weight and size. I think it's slightly a little bit taller, only by just a little bit. Here we go. Just to put a perspective, this is the, I don't know why the tripod's shaking, but that's the Canon, of course, the 17-40 f4, and this is the Canon STM 24-105, and you can just about see the weight difference. Well, you can just about see the size difference, and I was expecting this to be a little bit bigger, taller, and heavier, but it's round about, if not the same weight, especially, which is a good news because again, I will be talking about why I need this for specific needs, and we'll talk about that later on. Thankfully, it's the exact same filter thread as my other lens I'm currently using, which is the 24mm art lens from Sigma, which is a great addition so that I don't actually need to buy any more step-up rings. I've got one step-up rings, which is to make sure that it does actually fit on RF 24-105. It does come with a Canon lens cap, and it comes with a Canon lens mount as well, cap, and you've got the classic Canon little square off design. Now I think the initial reason for this is so that you can actually drop in a filter at the back instead of at the front, but yeah, as you can see, f4, it is a constant aperture as well. The main reason, I might as well talk about that now, the main reason why I actually purchased this lens over anything else is simply because I don't need the best of the best in terms of ultra wide lens. I know you can get the 16-35 f2.8, there's 3 different variants of that, along with the 16-35 f4, the new ones that came out, which apparently is supposed to be much better in terms of image quality compared to the 17-40. And of course, you've also got the top dog, which is the RF 15-35. That's specifically designed for the Canon R6 and any type of RF bodies. However, I purchased this one simply because it is the cheapest, it is the lightest. I don't need the stabilization, which this doesn't actually have because I've already got IBIS inside my Canon R6, which I'm shooting on right now. And I just need this for vlogging essentially, and just some close-up shots. That doesn't actually need the best in terms of image quality. I just need something wide angle lens, and it's something fun to actually shoot with as well, because ever since I've actually purchased the Sigma R 24mm f1.4, it gave me a whole new aspect in terms of shooting, especially at low light, and the depth of field that I can actually get from the Sigma R 24mm 1.4, especially at nighttime. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell did I get this? You could have actually got anything else. It's simply because I actually use this to do a specific needs, and that's just vlogging, stuff like this, that I don't need the best of the best in terms of image quality. I just need something that's sharp, and obviously since it is still a Canon L series lens, it is supposed to be still top-notch quality. It might not be in the best in terms of what today you can actually get, however it's still a relatively usable lens, and I think for me, I think this is a very underrated lens. And just to finish off the initial impression, so you've got 77mm filter thread, you've also got of course the metal mount, and of course because it's an L series lens, it is of course weather sealed, so you've got a little rubber ring going all the way around the lens to stop dust and splash of water to actually get to your sensor and destroying your camera or lens. And you've got of course the Canon little click where you can actually adjust it from manual to autofocus should you desire. It's got a built-in meter reading. It is the ultrasonic mode, so it is supposed to be super silent, and at the same time you've got a manual focus ring, which I'm not too sure if it is actually full-time manual, so I'm not too sure about that, but I will do some testing. And of course the biggest new addition and the biggest feature that I think is super useful is the fact that it is all internal zoom. Well, kind of. So it doesn't actually protrude out, which is good, because then it means that if you actually use it on a gimbal, you don't actually have to rebalance it, and this is a great feature. And that about sums up the initial impression, and so far so good. It is actually fantastic. I might as well actually swap out right now and actually show you guys the difference in terms of the field of view. I will actually be of course changing the aperture, because currently I'm shooting with the Sigma Art 1.4 at f2.8. however, I will have to stop down to f4 because that's the faster that this lens can actually go. Currently we've got it at 24mm, it is at f4, so you do get a little bit more in focus. I think with a full frame, f4 is where you actually want, especially at vlogging, because I used to use this Sigma Art to actually vlog with at f1.4. However, I always used to find out that not everything is actually in focus, especially with my head. Sometimes the back of my head or my ear might actually be out of focus, which isn't such a great look. Essentially, f4 is more than enough, especially if you're going to be much closer. But just to put a perspective, this is at 24mm. Tripod is still exactly at the same spot. However, let me just zoom out so you guys can actually see the difference in terms of the field of view. And there you go, that's 17mm right now. And I'm still standing in the same spot, but clearly I can actually see the corner of my TV, which is still there. And you can see a hell of a lot of kids' toys, which is on my right-hand side. And again, this is why I actually wanted Canon 70-40, because it's just for this. I can be much more closer. I don't have to lock my elbow out in front, so I can actually get a perfect angle, because 24mm, it is good, but unless you've got really long arms, 24mm can be a little bit too tight, to be honest. So yes, this will be my full-time vlogging, indoor, that type of environment, because even at f4 I can actually crank up my ISO way up if I really wanted to, and I can still get relatively clean image, especially if I'm out and about. Maybe at night time, middle of the night, I might actually bust out the 24mm Sigma R, but other than that, this is perfectly suitable for me. And when I do go out, I still need to use the ND filter anyways, which I will be doing a review separately. However, this is my initial impression coming straight from my home, and this is the image coming straight out of it. All right then guys, so I've had a chance to actually look at the footage, play it back on my monitor, and pixel peep exactly all that kind of stuff, and there are some type of faults with it, but obviously that isn't something new. You get the obvious distortion with it as well, and you get the obvious kind of softness around the edges. You get a little bit of a vignette, but to be fair, it's quite easy to remove. But at the same time, all of the things that I was worried about with this lens isn't there, if that makes sense. I was expecting this lens to be rubbish. I was expecting it to be used for, I was expecting to use this lens for a couple of weeks and just be bored with it and just sell it off, but I absolutely do love it, especially since I was able to actually walk out with it and have my full gear with me and have the camera out wide, and at 70mm is such a blessing. The reason being is because I don't actually have to lock my elbow out completely and have it hanging at the edge of my hand just to get a good frame. Now, to be fair, that's exactly what I wanted it to be done. So at the end of the day, it is still weather sealed. I've still got the ability to actually zoom in to about 40mm, which is kind of about all right, to be honest. I mean, I can do it right now and look at it. I'm still actually using this lens right now, and it's still, you know, perfectly fine. It's still focused. I've noticed that if you have this in manual focus, this is just this little benefit which I didn't actually notice. It's the fact that, you know, when you've actually got this set to manual, all the electronics and stuff like that, focus peaking, it still works. But what I didn't actually realize is the fact that it's what you call parafocal or something like that, where you don't actually have to refocus as soon as you zoom in or out. It stays locked in. This is the shot with the Canon 17-40 f4. Currently, I have actually got a TIFF and ND. I did actually cut the vlogging section where I was actually testing out the stabilization. I did cut that a little bit short because I didn't actually realize that I was expecting to actually do a two different type of combination. So one with IBIS turned on and everything else is turned off. So electronically stabilized is turned off. Obviously it doesn't actually have a lens stabilization. So was walking about with that, and I wanted to do a test with zero stabilization, which I actually have done as well. Got some footage from that, but I didn't actually realize that in order to actually use the electronic stabilization, the IBIS actually turns on automatically. I don't know if it's the lens doing it or something like that. But if I were to actually go into the menu and actually turn off the IBIS and then turn on the electronic stabilization, whether it's just on standard or enhanced, it automatically kicks out the IBIS and turns that on straight away. There's no way for me to actually manually override that and switch it off. So the lines are perfectly controlled. This is at 17mm right now, which is a bit too much, to be honest. The camera is literally that far away from me, which is crazy. So I would actually bring it in to about 20mm, which is just about fine, so you don't actually have to see all the mess on the other side of the room. So yeah, this is a fantastic lens. It's super light, it's super compact, it's super cheap as well. I mean, you can actually get this for less than £300. It's a Canon L lens. It's weather sealed as well to a certain extent. It's in great conditions that you can actually get them from as well. And at the end of the day, they're actually workhorse as well. So they are actually built like a tank as well, even though this is mainly out of plastic, to be honest, but it's definitely got the good quality type of plastic as opposed to the cheap hollow type of plastic that you would find in much cheaper lenses. To be fair, looked at the image, I absolutely love this. I will be doing some much more in-depth review about the image quality, distortion, all that kind of stuff, taking a picture of the wall, all that kind of stuff. But to be fair, I might actually ditch that altogether, simply because I don't actually use it for hardcore type of set. So I'm not doing this for professional shoots and stuff like that. I might actually take it out, but I won't be using this lens just for that specific need. I will be just for wide angle shots, and if I really need something like a fun shot, because you can actually get some really nice perspective for this lens as well from this lens, to be honest. Like I did some, you know, some little shots where I was actually looking up. You will get some shots looking up at buildings and stuff like that, where you get some really nice perspective or type of view. This is the lens that I will actually be testing it out. Yeah, this is just a quick review of this lens. I've still got it on now, and at the same time you can bust it up to 40mm and just chill out, you know, have some sort of depth of field if that's what you want. This is more than enough. You don't need anything more in terms of depth of field. But at the end of the day, if you really want to go something crazy and just go look straight at the lens, it's like, look how massive my nose is. I look like an absolute idiot, but is it still focusing at the corner? Surely it does. Yeah, it is as well. I mean, this is just a fun lens, and it doesn't actually break the bank as well. It may actually replace my 24-105 RF lens, so that might actually leave my hand soon because I'm having way too much fun with this lens. I might actually let go of this lens just to recoup some of the money that I've actually spent on this, but at the end of the day, this is just a quick review of this Canon EF 17-40 f4L series lens, and I hope you did enjoy this little review. If you've got any more questions in regards to this lens, then give me a shout because I will be doing another review. My name is Abdi Mohammed, and I hope you did had a wonderful time enjoying this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.